I always forget to remove that. Hey, how's everyone doing? Thanks for joining us on the Political Deep Dive. I'm Dave Valente. This week we are once again sponsored by my good friend Travis Redneck and the Deep End Antiques in Beckley, West Virginia. If you have any military surplus, crystals, antique furniture, blown glass, if you have any of those needs, come see Travis down in Beckley, West Virginia, I-64, I-68, kind of where they converge at very short distance from that convergence. And he'll be happy to help you out and get you whatever you need. So, again, Beckley, West Virginia, the Deep End Antiques. This week, we have no official guest, but we do have a guest host with us, joining us from York, Pennsylvania. Christine, how you doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's been a long weekend, so I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So, tell everyone about yourself and your show.
Well, I've been on before, so I won't go too much into me, but I started my own podcast. I think tomorrow will be my 4th episode. It's called Liberty 101, and it's under what I refer to as the flagship of Not a Real Libertarian, which is fitting now since, I'm not a libertarian. Keystone Party is the new political party here in Pennsylvania, which I am a founder of, and one of the chairs. I don't remember my position, my official position in the Keystone Party, but no, Liberty 101 is where we get back to the basics. We talk about topics that you don't always have a political aspect of it, but we pull in the politics of it. Recently we talked about agriculture, and we'll be continuing that conversation with Nicole and Grant. Adam Reinhardt is going to be on to talk about religion. Spike's going to be on. Who knows what we'll end up talking about, but we did ballot access. So, and you were on my first episode, so thank you for that.
That's right.
But yeah, it's been
we had Jen Moore on last week. So, good things are happening.
Good things are happening.
Yeah.
Joe Slosky is running for governor still in the state of Pennsylvania.
Excellent.
As
might
a Keystone candidate.
We might be joined by Dan Fishman here in a little bit. He's in Boston on travel. I'm getting a little bit of feedback in my mic. Like I'm hearing myself talk.
Let me see if I can fix that.
Okay. But anyway, let's talk about some of the things that are going on in the world this week. So last week we were all faced with the existential crisis from the mainstream news media about the French election, saying that the nationalist candidate Marine Le Pen would win the election, and that it's kind of that old trite thing where they always talk about this is the most important election of our lifetime, and it's always the most important election of our lifetime. It's just an election; it's always an election. But Emmanuel Macron won re-election to be president of France, and will serve another 5-year term in France. But he is the first French president to be re-elected in 20 years. But I'm not surprised because of the opponent. I think they overhyped the opponent because let's face it, she's a nationalist. She's got really crappy. Oh, we got the man, the myth, the legend from parts unknown. Dan the Man Fridgman.
You notice that it's a completely different background.
It is a completely different background.
I am in Boston. I'm at my best friend's house. I was up here for a convention, and then if you're out with your friends, you got to watch the Bruins game, and so that's what we did. Although I don't actually know the end. Did the Bruins win, Mike? The Bruins did win. Okay.
All right, there you go. Good job.
Yeah, go Bruins.
I hate the Bruins.
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. I am ready for our Sunday night broadcast about all sorts of exciting things. What's up, Craig?
What's up, Craig? So, talking about the French election, so it went pretty much how I expected it last week. They overhyped the fact that Marine Le Pen was going to, threaten Emmanuel Macron, and
I mean,
she
yeah,
has a base
40%.
of support. Yeah, she has a base of support, but she doesn't add too much from the first ballot to the second ballot. And we've seen that before, where there's a threat in whatever election, especially these multi-tiered election. They do really well in the first ballot, but then they never add on.
Well, but she did, right? I mean, would she go from 22% to 42%, 22% to 40%?
Yeah, I mean, but Macron went what from 35
27 to 60.
Yeah, almost 60%. So
I mean, I agree with that. Well, I mean, obviously, the first thing that has to be said about the French election is, but
way.
Sound like the chef from Little Mermaid.
les poissons. But I mean, it is, France has a history of this sort of thing, right? Dreyfus Affair and Vichy. So I'll tell you a story. I went to school in England for a year, and I got to take this amazing class, 4 weeks long, the history of World War II, 1 week taught by a professor from each allied nation. So of course, I know the American history of World War II, how our economic might set the world free. The British history of World War II is how Roosevelt was crippled by polio, and Churchill prevents Roosevelt from giving away all of Europe to the Russians. The Russian version of World War II is how the English and the Americans hoped the Germans would kill us, but we were too strong, so they decided to help us instead. And the French version is how we cunningly pretended to surrender so that we could undermine the Germans from behind their lines. It's astonishing. But
you know what? Guerrilla warfare has its. I mean, it is a tactic. I mean, it really is. Rather than, face up and fight straight up. Get melt into the grass and do guerrilla warfare. It's an effective strategy. We haven't really found a way to defeat it that well.
Well, I mean, for me, the really interesting thing was that one prison of war camp where Hogan and Sergeant Schultz. I mean, it's amazing. Christine has no idea what I'm talking about.
I do not. No, I'm just
Hogan's Heroes.
Listening and enjoying.
Oh, you gotta watch that show. Hogan's Heroes.
I definitely would recommend catching an episode of Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing.
I'm familiar with it, but it is a little bit.
No, I mean, honestly, it's like 72, 73. It's an old show. Yeah. It's 50 years old, but it's pretty funny. I mean, what's funny too is they made a comedy version of The Great Escape.
I'm still processing that 72 is 50 years ago.
Oh, I'm there. I'm like, my 49th birthday is in a couple months, so I'm like,
yep.
I'll be 35.
So young, so innocent.
Old,
so baby.
Well, no, but when you tell me that you're going to be 35, what I'm thinking is, tell me about your 2024 presidential campaign. I'm gonna go get the website right now.
Yeah.
You're gonna go start my website. Okay.
The Whisper campaign begins. Oh, I think we.
Yeah, so I'm running against Dave Smith. Here, I've announced it all.
There we go. I think you have a shot or 12. Sorry.
Yeah, I have no desire. Actually, funny story. When I was a child, I wanted to be the first female president of the United States. And I realized that dream was never going to happen because Hillary Clinton was going to be the first woman president. And I also thought Donald Trump would also be a good president because he was such a good businessman. But obviously I was a very delusional child. So I'm going to fall the whole Christine being president into the delusional file. So that's not going to happen.
Well, Sam Robb.
Yeah. Sam Robb with Dan Wasmer.
There we go.
Sam Robb, Dan Wasmer for vice president.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've gotten so overhyped when it comes to elections, especially since the election of Donald Trump, um, that the media has really stepped in much more than they used to. There we go. We got him back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You got frozen.
Yeah.
Let it go, Dan. Let it go.
It's because you're in Boston.
Well, it's funny because I thought Christine had hung up because my joke was so good.
Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
I don't even remember what I was talking about. But
Christine being president.
We were talking about Christine being president in my presidential campaign in 2024.
And you're right. I was going to GoDaddy to get the domain.
I have too long of a name. I wouldn't be a good presidential candidate.
No, that's not necessary.
I have a hyphenated last. I don't want to be KCW, just like AOC. Nope. KCW reminds.
Cool. Well, wait. As it turns out, KCW 2024 is available.
I really hate going by KCW because there's an ignorant jerk face here in Pennsylvania that has an abbreviated name that everyone refers to him as, and we both end with W. And I don't want any kind of connection to that penis face.
Okay. I recognize the fact that is a technical term.
I do not blame you.
All right.
Let's see. What's that?
I'll work on domain names while we're talking.
There you go.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for that.
So, sad news out of the Senate. Longtime Utah Senator Orrin Hatch passed away this week at the age of 88. He's not been in the Senate for the last 4 years now. But represented Utah for like 42 years in the Senate. Was a Grammy winner. He actually recorded a lot of Christian, or not. I'm sorry, not a winner. He was a Grammy nominee. Recorded a lot of Christian music in the Mormon faith, but he actually did a Hanukkah song and several other things. Was nominated for a Grammy, but didn't win. And Ryan, you're correct. It was in there for far too long. 7 terms in the Senate is way too long for someone to serve. He only had like one real contested election. That was his first re-election, and after that, never faced any real opposition after that. So,
incumbents in Utah are reelected at a higher rate than incumbents in Iran.
It was not a spoken word album. It was a Christian album, tabernacle type choir thing, I think. But he wrote music. That was his thing.
He also did a cover of Gin and Juice. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure I saw him at Coachella.
Right. He did that thing with Tupac's hologram at Coachella.
Yeah. He just whipped out a massive bong and just took a few milky rips on it. On stage.
I like the fact that his rap name was the Dirty Hatch.
Oh my Lord!
He was going to hell.
We've gone off the rails here. All right.
Yep.
But speaking of Utah, the interesting thing that happened in Utah today is that the Utah Democrats.
Hold on, wait a second. Interesting stuff happens in Utah.
Okay, interesting for Utah.
I will say, if you haven't been to Utah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful state.
Zion National Park.
Pretty and
well, you can get entertained there.
Those things can come in the same package. You're looking at it.
But the Utah Democrats decided not to nominate someone for Senate.
They're running our old friend.
And running Egg McMuffin or Evan McMillan for Utah Senate. Or for
McMullen, I think. Is it McMillan? McMullen.
McMullen. Yeah, McMuffin. Okay. Yeah.
For people who don't remember, McMullen outpolled Gary Johnson in 2016 in Utah, where Gary Johnson was supposed to win. but he had that unfortunate faux pas.
What is it, Utah?
No, he said something about. He said something slightly derogatory about the Mormon faith.
Oh,
I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll tell you in a sec.
Hey, would you like to know a random fact? Because I wanted to look up the musical career of this guy.
Yep.
Because I was interested. Frank Zappa composed a guitar instrumental entitled Orrin Hatch on Skis, and it appears on his 1988 album Guitar.
nice. He actually had a multi-platinum hit in like 2005, which is crazy to me. Like that a U.S. senator would get a platinum hit basically in his 60s.
Yeah, he also was featured on 30 Rock.
There you go.
Random information for everybody this evening.
Yeah, so Evan McMullen will be this is an interesting thing because this is something that we really can't do. If this was a ballot access race for us, we couldn't endorse another candidate. I don't know about the Keystone Party rules, what they will eventually be, but the LP can't endorse a candidate, especially in ballot access races, which we get asked to do all the time because they're ballot access. We give up our ballot access to endorse a Democrat or Republican, we lose our ballot access. There's too much for us to lose. I personally got asked a couple times during the last gubernatorial race in West Virginia to, have our candidate back out and endorse, the Democrat or the Republican, and I'm like, can't do it. Now, I not only do I not want to do it because I don't think either one of your candidates are all that great, and our candidate was phenomenal, Erica Kalenich. You're asking me to go out and get 15,000 signatures in West Virginia the next election. No, we got ballot access. I want to keep ballot access.
Yeah. So the LP in Pennsylvania actually has it in their bylaws, that you can't endorse non-libertarian candidates, and then at least that's how I recall it, unless they've changed something in the last 4 meetings that they've had since convention changed.
I do think that they're required to endorse non-libertarian candidates. That was the big bylaws change that they made.
They're required, yeah.
Who knows? They've had 4 meetings since March 5th's convention, so who knows what they've done. And bylaws are nothing at this point to them. Anyway, but they actually had it in the bylaws that you weren't allowed to endorse non-libertarian candidates, and if you did, you could lose your affiliate status. Wow. As for Keystone, I believe we're going to do, and I could be just speaking, I would like us to do something similar. Because the goal is ballot access. It's getting minor party status. It's being able to not have to collect signatures for a special election. It's, being able to define who is running as one of our candidates versus just, having people run willy-nilly. So I want to see us, realistically, we're not going to have 50 state ballot access for any presidential candidate in 2 years, unless you guys got lots of money you want to donate. But
$1.
We will have to put someone up on our ballot as a presidential and vice presidential candidate to, try and get ballot access.
It's funny you say that because I just purchased womack2024.com. So you're gonna have to tell me who your running mate is, but
oh my goodness,
she's regretting the decision to join us tonight.
Maybe I can convince Spike to be mine when the LP goes to shit in Reno.
I will put that up there.
There you go,
Womack.
Maybe that's what my May 9th my May 9th meeting on my podcast with Spike can be about.
This is a dangerous. This would be a dangerous ticket right here.
Oh gosh.
No, I like the idea. Sheets Valente.
No,
I like Put a Valente in your sheets.
Freaks in the streets, Valentes in the sheets.
I think Ryan Borinsky should be the presidential candidate since he wants to nominate everybody else.
There you go.
Congratulations, Ryan. Are you old enough?
Ryan is my VP.
All right.
There you go. All right. So let's do the news quiz. How's that sound? All right. Let me share. Sharing means sharing.
I'm gonna go get a drink real quick, but keep going. I can hear you.
Better be quick.
All right. The 5 Things Weekly News Quiz from CNN. We do this one because it's free and I don't have to go behind a paywall because I'm cheap. We'll wait for Dan to get back, but we'll get the first question underway. So the about 30,000 runners participated in the which popular marathon this week? I think Dan will get this one. Is it the London Marathon, the New York Marathon, the Boston Marathon, or the Los Angeles Marathon?
It is the oldest marathon in the history of the modern world, the Boston Marathon.
One of the teachers from the school I work at actually went up there and participated in it.
Nice.
So I knew it was that answer.
It's a very hard marathon to get into. For people who don't know, you have to run under 3:30 to qualify.
Is it one of those marathons that has the bus that follows the groups?
No.
So, because I know DC has a marathon where it has a bus and you have to maintain a certain time, and if the bus passes you, it picks you up. Like
interesting.
Yeah, because they got to reopen the streets really quickly.
So they keep the streets closed for like 6 hours, and then after that, you have to run on the sidewalk and stuff like that.
Okay.
But people do come in late, and there is a way to run. It's actually a pretty clever thing to if you raise enough money for charity, your charity group can run, and then you don't have to qualify. But it's like $150,000. 5,000. My buddy Mike says 5,000. 5,000 per person, or so $5,000 per person, and your charity group can run.
There you go.
It was a middle school teacher at our school. I just found the pictures.
Groovy. All right. Question number 2. The Biden administration hosted a huge party at the White House Monday to celebrate what? Easter?
I know this answer.
Mardi Gras?
It's Easter.
Ask presidential candidate.
Yeah,
KCW.
Presidential knowledge you have to have. So
yeah.
It was Easter, and I know this because our lieutenant governor, John Fetterman, whatever his first name is, was there.
Now, I am obviously not an expert, didn't grow up in that religion, but isn't Easter on Sunday?
it is.
So here's the thing. So Sunday.
Well, 2 Sundays.
Christian, yeah. Well, I'm a Methodist, and we celebrated it on last Sunday.
Yeah.
But Greek Orthodox and stuff celebrated it today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they probably did it Monday as a way to split between the two.
Interesting. Methodists don't drink, right?
I drink.
Okay. Never mind.
So I don't know if other Methodists don't drink, but I drink.
Yeah, it's more Baptist than Methodist. Methodists are, I'll say, I hate to say it like this, but Catholic light. They do the.
No, Episcopals are Catholic light. That's the definition of Episcopal.
But you do the prayer to the Pope and recognizing the Pope. Not really.
Next year we'll do the religion quiz.
Okay, yeah.
We don't. I mean, at least my church doesn't recognize. Actually, the United Methodist is actually being split up into two different factions. Actually, because of the way some people feel about like LGBTQ stuff and some other more social issues, they're actually being split into two like factions.
Interesting. Any religious warfare?
Not that I'm aware of. I just know that. I know that at the international conference there was the LGBTQ kind of stuff. Like if someone is a homosexual, if they can be a pastor and things like that. And because it was the international, most of the United States representatives were like, yeah, that's fine, unless they were from like Bible Belty, more conservative areas. Most of the United States was like, yeah, but then you've got places like China and Africa and everything like that, which aren't as opening and as inclusive to those kind of lifestyles. So it's just an okay Friday. So there was a big split on that topic, and I think that's kind of where it led to the division of the Methodist.
All right.
Interesting. So, that's cool. That I think church reform should come from the members, and
The laity.
as we gain more understanding about human evolution and all that stuff, that we can change certain things. You're not saying that there is no God. You're not saying that there is no. It's that who can be a member of the church, I think, is a fundamental question that the members should be able to answer.
Yeah, I don't think you say evolution
Agreed.
in the church in the same breath. No, sorry. I'm just kidding.
I believe in evolution.
My church believes in evolution too.
I don't know if my church does. I do personally. I
There you
think there's too much science, and I still believe God created everything. Anyway,
There we go. Question number 3. A federal judge this week struck down the Biden administration's mask mandate that applied to which of the following? Theme parks, churches, airplanes, or restaurants?
It was
I
airplanes.
know this answer.
Yeah,
Too easy.
Airplanes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had to double take. My friends had pictures of them going to Disney, and I was like, wait a second, you're in the airport. Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Because they didn't have masks on.
So they didn't know, because I actually wasn't clear about that. Airplanes I knew, but I don't know that airports were changed.
They didn't have them on. She got a picture of her child boarding the airplane, like in that little like tunnel,
Right.
and he didn't have a mask on. So
Interesting. Yeah, now I'm going back into work now, so I go into DC and I take the metro. They still are pretty. They're not horrible about masks, but you get the stink eye when you get on the train if you don't have your mask on. So I don't know if it's everywhere still says that you need to wear a mask on the trains in DC,
Right.
and that may just be a local rule rather than it's.
Well, right.
probably
That's
not
the thing. Is that
rule.
I think that there are a lot of municipalities that haven't lifted their mask mandates.
Yeah.
And since I don't know what they would run the airport or not, I guess airports are federal land.
But I going into my work, which is federal workplace, that I don't wear a mask in there. It's only recommended. So if I'm sitting in my desk, I'm not going to put a mask on for all 8 hours. It's just I can't do that. It's just I get bothered. I get way too hot way too quickly, and that just would not fly with me. So
I agree.
I'm glad that it's just recommended. Most people, if you get up and walk around the building, a lot of people will put their mask back on. But if you're sitting at your desk, most people are taking their mask off. Just
Yeah.
for comfort.
I mean, I say it all the time. It's not real liberty if I can't lick the elevator buttons.
Who does?
Under a Womack administration, you will be allowed to.
I'm writing that down as policy position number 1.
There you go. That's issue number 1 you're going to run on.
Right.
Licking elevator button.
You can lick elevator buttons.
Yep.
It's freedom. Question number 4. Some employees who work for one of the world's biggest companies recently announced intention to unionize. Which company do they work for? McDonald's, Chipotle, Apple, or Facebook?
I would have guessed Amazon if I hadn't seen the thing underneath. So I don't know. I'm going to guess.
I'm going to guess Apple.
I'm going to guess McDonald's.
Mm.
I mean, if it's biggest, it's not clear whether it's biggest by employees or biggest by market cap, because I'm sure that McDonald's has more employees than Apple or Facebook.
Yeah, I
However,
agree with you.
If it's by market cap, then it's probably Apple.
Yeah, I have not seen the story because I'd seen the story about Amazon.
Yep.
I've seen the story about Amazon. That was what I was assuming, that Amazon would be one of the choices.
Yeah, and I
read it, I was like, no, wait a minute.
I assume it's Amazon too, and I bet you McDonald's is already unionized.
It depends on. I mean,
I knew for sure
here.
it's not Chipotle or Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
So
right.
so let's go with Apple.
Let's do Apple. Oh, there we go.
Nice
Apple
job.
Store. Apple Store employees in New York and Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta's an interesting one because Georgia's a right to work state.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting.
Yep. They'll be replaced by robots. I mean, Apple doesn't need stores anyway. It's just dumb.
It'll just be a hologram of Steve Jobs telling you how much you suck and that you're fired.
It's going to be a bunch of Oculus Rifts outside, and you can walk through the virtual store.
There you go. There you go. That works. Question number 5. Oscar-nominated actor Johnny Depp took the stand this week in a highly publicized defamation case against which actress? This one's easy this week.
Yeah, that's super
Say,
easy.
I know this
Amber. Yeah, so everyone knows.
I've been tracking it, so.
I mean, it's a weird case, right? This whole thing that came out with like the elevator footage of her and 2 famous people, neither of whom I can remember right now.
Did you hear about the makeup?
No, what's the makeup?
So they had this like concealer thing. So imagine this, and her lawyer's up there. She's carried this in her purse to help cover her bruises and her, all of this stuff. She's had to carry this to help cover and cover that up. And they were together from like 14 to 16 and then separated and got divorced. And the company that makes that concealer came out and was like, we didn't release that till 2017.
Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. So they released footage of her and Elon Musk fooling around in the elevator. And there's somebody else as well, some athlete, but
this I'm not sure I like either one of these people at this point.
I am a fan of Johnny Depp, so
I think
I'm a little biased.
Is she supposed to take the stand herself?
I don't know.
And I guess that's kind of the advantage of if he takes the stand first, he and I think it really does speak to, if you're a fan of someone, I think you're going to be a little more intent on buying what they're saying rather than the other person. I don't know. I just don't think that either one of them looked really good.
I mean, the thing about Johnny Depp is that he has made some remarkable films. That
he's done a lot of philanthropic stuff too, like going to the hospitals dressed as Jack Sparrow to meet with kids with cancer and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of other people go to the hospital dressed as Jack Sparrow too.
Yeah.
So,
not the original Jack Sparrow.
But
in the hospital.
What was that one where he's the undercover cop who broke
Public Enemy?
No,
Serpico? No, that one.
That's Al Pacino. Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco, yeah.
That is a great movie.
Yeah.
So I've been following this case a little bit because USA Today's been showing it live on TikTok. So, when I have downtime and it's on. And Amber Heard is just an idiot. Like, I'm trying to use my words like nicely. She is not aware of her surroundings. So like she's sitting over there and she's like smirking. And then she realizes the camera's on her and she's like, and then I heard an audio clip that was played during the hearing, and they showed Johnny Depp like reliving it. And it was her telling him, I didn't punch you. I slapped you or something like that.
No, I hit you.
I didn't punch you. I hit you like this. And then I must have you didn't see any video of it, but you just heard it. And she's like, you just need to grow up. You're a little baby. And you just see Johnny Depp's face, and obviously he can also be acting, but
sure.
Having been an abuse a survivor myself, not quite that bad, but it's hard to really have that kind of emotion again when you're reliving stuff. I I was like, I wanted to punch this chick. Like, and then there's another audio of her saying that she doesn't like, she didn't like spending time with Johnny Depp and his friends because they're all old. And then someone took that clip and stitched it with one of his ads for Dior of him like rocking out on the guitar and stuff and looking like a hot piece of ass. And it was like, why don't old man? So she's
wow.
Fair.
But it's Johnny Depp has some friends I didn't know he had though. So apparently he does E with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, he told he gave Marilyn Manson pills to shut him up.
I mean, that's not a good friend to have in this sort of case.
No,
No, it's not.
no, it's not.
There's also a picture of his recording studio with 4 like giant bags of pot just sitting on the table, and he's like, "Yeah, that's mine. It's at the recording studio."
You try one.
But that is better. You know, one of the best things that happened when we were fighting to legalize cannabis in Massachusetts was they ran a commercial on television with so-and-so police officer, 32 years service. What is the most dangerous call an officer can go on? He's like, a domestic call. You never know how it's going to turn out. You know, anybody could become violent. There could be weapons there. You just don't know what you're walking into. Officer, which is more dangerous, a domestic call where alcohol is involved or a domestic call where cannabis is involved? I've never been on a domestic where cannabis was involved. That was it.
I remember I was in there was a big police convention in DC, and I was at the bar at the bottom of my building when I lived in Crystal City. And one of the guys at the bar, I struck up a conversation with him. He was one of the cops from like Wichita or something like that. And inevitably we started talking about the war on drugs and things like that. And I said, so, I mean, what is your feeling about getting cannabis legalized? He goes, it'll never happen. This is, really, I think Colorado had already done it, but, it was still kind of in the early stages.
Sure.
And I said, well, but what do you, he goes, but I'll tell you that I will 100% rather go on a call where somebody's on cannabis and deal with them or deal with somebody who's on cannabis than ever on a call with somebody who's on alcohol.
Right.
Because it's just night and day. You're going to be you're going to have a docile person to deal with, and really they just want to find their munchies. I mean, that was what he said. He was like that's really kind of their big thing is get them to some water and some munchies, and they're good. So
Yep.
All right, question number 6.
I have no idea on this one.
Yeah, I don't either. Which automaker says it plans to phase out all gasoline-powered vehicles from its U.S. lineup within 10 years? Honda, Toyota, BMW, or Volkswagen?
What'd you say, Christine?
So if I had to guess, I'm going to assume it's BMW or Volkswagen. One of the more expensive, you know what I mean, cars that, like a Honda. I don't know, Honda Civic. My husband owns one. It's something special. I just can't imagine all of those cars or Toyotas being made non-gasoline.
So I'm going to say
I would guess either BMW or Volkswagen.
I would say eliminate Toyota because of the Tacoma and Tundra line.
Yeah,
which is really profitable. But I don't see people making electric going all electric on trucks yet. So
I'm thinking it's Volkswagen because I've seen a few stories about. I've seen Volkswagen in the news lately. I just don't know what it was about.
Yeah.
So
I'll go with you guys. My guess would be, it might be easier for BMW because they make less cars, but why not Volkswagen?
All right, it's going to be German. Yes.
All right, we are.
Volkswagen says goodbye to internal combustion engines and will sell only electric cars within the U.S. in the next decade.
In the U.S., so they're still going to sell, their other things overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
So people can still get them in the U.S. because you buy cars from markets?
For a long time, Volkswagen was still making the Beetle in Mexico, and people would go and buy them down there and drive them up.
Yep. It's just it's a nightmare in customs and declarations and all that stuff, and that's the pain of it all. But yeah, you can bring a car from overseas. There's some adjustments. I mean, I had some friends that brought in British vehicles that have the steering wheel on the opposite side.
My my parents actually went for their honeymoon, went to Germany, bought a Volkswagen Beetle, drove it all over Europe for 3 months, and then shipped it back. And because they'd put enough mileage on it, it was a used car, and so they didn't have to pay new car import tax on it.
Well, there you go.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It used to
That's
be
a
a
nice little
relatively
loophole.
popular thing to do. I don't know if it's still true, but if you go to the Mercedes website, they used to have a thing about how to do that.
Huh. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Okay, question number 7. Which U.S. state has the highest number of polluted cities? Alaska,
That seems too easy.
Illinois, Texas, or California? I think this might be a little harder than it looks.
I think it's going to be California.
I think it's 100% California.
I can say that one of the most polluted cities in the country is Houston.
Yes, but I think that it's like
That's
you just change this to which U.S. state has the most cities?
Yeah.
California.
All right, we'll do California.
All right.
There we go. Yep.
Cha-ching!
Found the cities most polluted the year-round particle pollution were all in California. All of them. Wow. But with Bakersfield topping the list, followed by Fresno, Madera, and Hanford area. Visalia, the San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland area, and then Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Question number 8. Russian and Belarusian athletes will not be allowed to participate in what major sporting event this year?
I know this.
Yeah, the Stanley Cup playoffs, Kentucky Derby, Tour de France, or Wimbledon. I know
Wimbledon.
I would imagine it's not the Stanley Cup.
No,
Right.
that would suck.
Well, it's interesting because the Caps guy, help me out.
Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah, Ovechkin, is sort of a Putin apologist.
Yeah.
But, he's walking a tight line too. And, I mean, he's one of the greatest hockey players that we've ever seen. But he is clearly, not the best beat in the borscht, if you know what I mean.
He so in 2018 when Putin was running for re-election, Alexander started something. It was an athletes for Vladimir Putin group in Russia. He's participated in events with Putin. I don't give him as much of a hassle right now because one, his family is like at the start of the war, his wife, his child, his parents are all in Russia. And if you start speaking out against the war, even if you are against the war, that is not a wise move. As we've seen with the Russian Federation, they like to lock people up. So I don't blame him for not taking a harder stance, but I also think that in some ways they've kind of gone overboard. I remember Dominic Hasek, the longtime great goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres, made a pronouncement saying, I want every Russian player banned from the NHL. And it's like, no, that doesn't help either.
Yeah. All right. So you got to let me show my video. This is Vladimir.
Vladimir on the ice.
Yeah. Putting it to the Russian guys.
Vladdy on ice. Coming soon to an ice rink near you.
Yeah. Look, he has to tell him, put your. What an idiot.
My favorite part is at the end of this video.
Right. Oh my God.
Oh, don't serious stuff here, goalie.
Right. And I mean, these are professional players out there with him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the great.
Like NHL Hall of Famers out there.
Yeah. Oh no.
Honestly, I mean, if it didn't result in the automatic sent to the gulagging, I would love to see one player get score somebody else.
Yeah, I'll stop playing it now. But 8 goals he scored in one game against the NHL All-Stars.
The very end of that video is the best part because he's skating around doing this victory lap,
Falls.
and somebody had put a carpet out on the ice to do like some kind of post-game presentation, and he biffs it. He just goes right on the carpet and just biffs it on the ice. And I'm sure that there's someone dead because they put the carpet out too early.
It is like the second most impressive sporting achievement of all time. The first being when Kim Jong-un shot a 24 in 18 holes of golf. I'm not even kidding. That's the legitimate statistic they put out.
That's their story. Man,
his first game he ever played, and he stopped playing because it was too easy.
Oh gosh, you gotta love that. Question number 9, Biden again. How much money has the U.S. committed to Ukraine in assistance since the Russian invasion began February 24th? 3.4 million, 34 million, 3.4 billion, or 34 billion?
I'm going to say 3.4 billion.
I'm going to say that too.
Yeah, it's either that or the 34.
Like...
It's definitely in the billions. So, well, yep, 3.4 billion.
We are geniuses, Chris.
Yeah, we're rocking it. Although, last week we got the first 9 right, and we got stumped on number 10.
It's dramatic.
And can we do it? Which streaming platform had a disastrous week after posting its first subscriber loss in more than a decade? This one's easy. Yay, we're going to go 10 for 10.
It's Pornhub.
Yeah.
Blink and chill.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, or Disney Plus?
Netflix. Yeah.
I
We got 10 out of 10. How about that? 35% stock. Yeah, it was.
I like the raising the roof. Nobody raises the roof anymore.
I was at a wedding this weekend, and I just having flashbacks to my 90s and early 2000s days after that.
Are we going to throw our hands in the air?
Only
we did.
I don't care.
Yes, I do not care.
All right.
All right. So speaking of streaming services, and well, they have Disney Plus here, but speaking of Disney, we had an interesting week for Disney. So they saved a lot of money, I think.
Did they? I've heard like conflicting things.
I've heard conflicting things too, and I think things will come out eventually. But
you can stop sharing your screen, Dave.
Yeah. Remove it.
I mean, you can keep sharing it. It's just not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Well, got to celebrate the wins though. 10 for 10.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw the thing that they don't have to pay the $534 million for maintaining all the services in the county, but I don't know what that really means. But I will say that one of the craziest things about it is when people argue about this and they say the law doesn't say don't say gay, but it actually says may not speak about issues of sexuality. So it's essentially saying don't say gay. And I had an interesting conversation with somebody about this over the weekend, a Libertarian Party vice presidential candidate. And he said, Dan, I think I'm with the conservatives on this. I don't want kids this young to be taught this stuff. I'm like, that's not what this is about. It's not what's being taught. It's about when John says, hey, how come Sally has 2 daddies? That the teacher can say, sometimes 2 men love each other very much and they want to get married and raise a family. That's all we're talking about here. Yeah. So,
I'd be perfectly fine with my child hearing a story about Sally and her 2 dads or Johnny and his 2 moms. Yep. I mean, you hear story. I mean, I'm in the classroom, so I know what these kids are, being read. You're hearing stories of single moms and single dads that's a lifestyle, family style that is happening. And that's not telling kids to grow up and have children out of wedlock.
Well, and you consider all the stuff the kids are seeing on television anyway, and the other media forms. George Carlin famously said, I'd rather have two people watch a film. I'd rather have kids watch a film of 2 people making love than two people trying to kill each other. And then he said, you know what? But I actually would like to take it to the next level. I'd like to go to some old Westerns and replace the word kill with the word fuck. All right. We're going to fuck you now, Sheriff. We're going to fuck you slow.
Oh my God. So I was, scrolling on TikTok as I do when I'm bored. And there was somebody took a video or one of the old videos where Bruce Lee was fighting Chuck Norris.
Yep. Game of death.
And instead of the dramatic music that went in there, they put it to like, let's get it on. And completely changes the context of that video. It looks like because they're slowly unbuttoning their gis, and Chuck Norris pulls out his. Chuck Norris looks like a man-o'-lantern in there. You remember from 40-year-old version? Like he's got really weird, he's got really weird chest hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked like a sexual scene rather than a classic kung fu scene.
Oh, mercy, mercy me. Sorry.
But
are you though?
No, it's
unapologetic me.
There you go. But no, I mean, I think we've gotten to a point where I think the concern I have with the law is that a lot of these people are the first to scream, things like groomer, things that you want to sexualize children, or you just want to indoctrinate children. A lot of the stuff that we're trying that people were talking about were things about, hey, how do you avoid things like this for young children? How do you avoid situations where you may be faced with this situation? This is actually vital information that they need because they. I don't know. I just. I think if you're really wanting to help children, I think more information is better than less.
I mean, there is an interesting idea about what are the things that you think parents should be the ones to talk to their children about, and then the question is, why aren't the parents doing that? Why aren't the parents the first one to talk to their kids about these issues?
Yeah,
but those issues, those parent conversation stuff happen all the time in schools. I mean, do you know how many times I've gotten asked, how do you have a baby?
Yep.
And I'm like, it's from the mom's belly. Anything else you need to go ask mom or dad about, because that is a more in-depth conversation. How is a baby made? Where does it come from? Things like that. That's definitely, in my opinion, a parent conversation. Yep. And we've kind of just grasp that as a community that goes to the parents.
When I was teaching, we used to say, we used to answer that question saying, well, you know what? It's actually different for different families. Different families get different from babies in different ways. You should ask your parents or your parent where you came from.
Yeah, my son's an IVF baby, so we've had that conversation that he was from a test tube. He came from a mommy part and a daddy part, but he was made in a test tube.
Mm-hmm. My parents told me that I was brought by a spaceship.
That makes so much sense.
It does. It does.
So much sense.
It does. Wow.
By the way, Dan, you're my chief of staff.
Done.
There you go.
Done. I have all sorts of great ideas. Like
I want to be the boxing commissioner. That's all I want. That's my patronage.
Nice. Well, let me ask you this then, a serious question. Was it right to promote Rocky Balboa to challenger of Apollo Creed in Rocky 1? Would you have done that?
No, you got to fight the.
I agree. I agree. You are in the WOMAC 2024 staff as boxing.
Any boxing?
Make sure to go wake up my husband and tell him.
Yeah. What I don't want is for him to also announce a WOMAC 2024 campaign.
So it's funny. He's actually running a congressional race here in our local district, and he's running with the LP, and I'm with the Keystone Party. And so I was like, I'm going to run a congressional race.
That would be awesome.
And I was
then,
like, I'm just kidding.
No, but I like the idea of doing that and then doing a debate from your living room.
That would be awesome.
We didn't invite the
Talk
Democrats.
about airing out your dirty laundry.
That would be awesome. Well, so now's the time where we ask each other questions. Can you tell me what your policy is on how long dishes should stay in the sink before they go into the dishwasher?
How long should you use sock balls on the floor?
Yeah.
How many times is it acceptable to restart the washer after the clothes have been sitting?
Right. Tell me the things that you think your partner should be consulted on when at the grocery store.
How long does it take to build? How long does it build a garden? How long does it take to build a garden in your backyard? And will it take that long for policies to go through?
God,
these are good questions. I like this campaign. You know, Mac, it occurs to me, I own Womack 2024, but let me look as if 2022 is available.
I'm sorry. I'm committed to running Joe Solosky for governor's campaign.
I hear Joe's a great candidate too.
He is.
He's a fantastic candidate. Nicole Schultz for lieutenant governor.
That's awesome. Where would I go to find out more about the Solosky campaign?
JoeSolosky.com, JoeSoloski.com.
I wonder if that would start scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
It could.
All right.
With the magic of
Also, all of their merchandise is available at ProudLibertarian.com. Yes, the Keystone Party candidates merchandise is located on ProudLibertarian.com.
Those Proud Libertarian guys. That's Daniel, right?
Yep.
That dude is really good and smart.
Keystone merchandise will also be available soon on ProudLibertarian.com.
People for Liberty stuff is also on ProudLibertarian.com.
Yes, it is.
All right, Dave.
Ask me, magic of the interwebs.
Ask me more questions. Ask us more questions, Dave.
How many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?
I just bite that shit.
I don't think it's been solved.
There it is. That's the answer right there. Just bite that shit.
Hey, speaking of that, the owl is the mascot for the Keystone Party.
Interesting. Is there a reason? Is the owl associated with Philadelphia or Pennsylvania for some reason?
Would you like to know that? Because I'm actually the one who picked the mascot. I'm the one who presented the mascot.
Please, why? And tell me that it has something to do with Pallas Athena.
With what?
Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom, and her symbolism.
It does not.
Okay.
Well, so we picked the owl. I presented it because it is a symbol of wisdom. Owls are known for seeing through deceit.
Yeah.
Ooh. And the owl is also a symbol of change. Like it usually symbolizes death and change and bringing of a new tide.
Yeah.
Owls are also known to eat mice.
Yes. And I believe that they deliver mail in Hogwarts. And
also, interesting fact: our owl is symbolized after the great horned owl. And do you know what animal the great horned owl is known for eating?
Egrets.
Porcupines.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, how is that possible?
Yeah.
I do know that. So I can't remember now who it is, but there's a live cam of a great horned owl's nest right now, and they're raising baby owls, which are ungodly cute. There's just no way around that. But holy crap, those guys are unbelievable hunters.
Oh,
they
yeah.
bring back everything, including like people were upset because they killed an egret and brought it back. And I was like, man.
Yeah, I mean, my college alma mater, Kennesaw State University, their mascot is the owl. It's a great horned owl, and just learning about owls and how they hunt and what they bring back, like small cats and small dogs, and pretty much anything. If it can pick it up, it's going to come back with it.
It's awesome.
Do you know what a group of owls is called? So like crows are a murder, and lions are a pride.
And the libertarians are an argument.
Is it a parliament or Congress?
It's a parliament. Yeah.
Nice job, Dave.
There we go.
So there was a lot of symbolism that, we looked at the symbolism for different animals, and the owl got picked.
Oh, we got
Also
comments here.
the owl does know how many licks, yes.
It does.
I just bite it though.
Yep, absolutely. Owl is a wise bird. What's the deep dive today? We are just deep diving, just chatting about the news of the week. But
Yep.
Dan, you got anything else for the week, man?
Not
Tell me about People for Liberty.
Yeah, so People for Liberty.
What's happening there?
So we were up here in Boston at the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts convention. We also met with some donors in the area, talked about some of the things that are coming along. And on the horizon, not that far away, if you go to Home for Liberty with the number 4, wait, is it? I can't remember now. I did it myself, but homeforliberty.org.
Too worried about that Womack URL.
I am. You know what? Homeforliberty.org. You'll see something there. And it's exciting. It is our big, exciting thing. Christine's typing it up right now.
Yeah, with these nails that I put on for a wedding.
Wait, let's see the nails up close. Dave, can you zoom in?
I can. Well, I can.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's you.
There we go.
There.
Ooh, that's called a French cut, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so proud of
French
myself. I went through a period where I knew nothing about fashion, women's hairstyles, anything like that. And then somebody exposed that I knew nothing about that, and I hate not knowing anything. So I did a 6-month deep dive on all sorts of stuff. I'm impressed that I know nail styles.
So have you guys been getting a lot of people setting up day of service stuff? Because I know that Sam's been really pushing it, and I've seen a lot of invites to stuff. I'm personally doing service that day, so.
Yep. So National Libertarian Day of Service is next week, May 1st. It is Joe Jorgensen's birthday, but that's not why we're doing it on May 1st. It just is a complete coincidence. It's also, a lot of people complain that May 1st is May Day, the day of the International Communist Party. However, we want to talk about actually working and doing service, which is not what they do. So we are taking that day back. And if you go to peopleforliberty.org/NLDOS for National Libertarian Day of Service, you can see a map of all the events that are going on. And it's not too late to create an event. So if you have a group that's doing an event, create your group event there. And then when somebody clicks on the map, they'll get a form to sign up for your event. So you'll get emailed, hey, so-and-so came and signed up for your event, stuff like that. That's specifically what this is designed to do. It's not about gathering information for us. It's to allow campaigns and candidates to put something out there. And then when people see it, and so we are going to be putting, I don't want to say a lot of money, but we're going to be putting a fair bit of money into advertising this over the next week. So candidates who are running for office, if you guys want to do something on Saturday or Sunday over the weekend, Sunday is the actual day, but whatever day works for you, put it up there. We're going to promote it. Somebody sees your event on the map, they click on it, you've got to volunteer. It's a great way for a campaign or a candidate or an organization to get new volunteers, to reach people that you haven't had involved in your organization beforehand. So peopleforliberty.org/NLDOS. Thank you for reminding me, Christine.
Yeah, you're welcome. I look forward to. I'm set to do. My aunt runs a senior center, and they're doing a fundraiser bingo thing that day. So I will be selling little 50/50 cherry picking tickets to help with that.
Well, and the one other thing I would say about it, you raise a great point. Right, we're libertarians, so it doesn't have to be on May 1st. Somebody posted theirs that actually was today in Washington, D.C. I didn't go to it because I'm up here in Boston. But if you're doing something over the next month, that's totally fine. Put your event up there. Get people out there. Wear your libertarian garb. We generated last year about 45 stories in local newspapers and 3 television stories. That's our goal, is to get as much coverage as we can so that people see voluntarism works. We can make the world better without having to order people to make the world better.
Yeah.
And just a plug, it could be the Day of Liberty volunteering, since there's the Keystone Party that promotes libertarian philosophy mostly too.
Well,
Just throwing that
so
out.
it is the National Liberty Day of Service. It's not the National Libertarian Day of Service. So Keystone people are welcome.
Yeah, whatever your bent is, come on out and support it. I got a question.
Don't do service.
Conservative podcast and debate. I only debate in pro wrestling interview style. So that's my style of debate.
Tag team?
Tag team? No. But
I'm
like
in.
Ric Flair.
People's over.
Oh, I like the elbow thing.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, reach out to me. I'll if you want to have me on, that's fine. I'm not the best debater in the world. I'm not a master debater at all. So
Dum.
I knew that was coming.
It was telegraphed. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, everyone. No, I'm not.
Yep.
But anyway, thanks everyone for watching this week. Christine, thank you so much for coming on. Tell everyone about your podcast again. When is it? Where is it?
My podcast is Mondays at 7 p.m. It's on Not a Real Libertarians Facebook page, YouTube, and things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Liberty 101. It's a podcast where we go back to the basics. We introduce topics on different topics, like we've done agriculture and ballot access, and we discuss the challenges that they have and how liberty-minded solutions can be used to fix them.
That's a great idea.
So,
excellent.
But yeah,
All right.
7 p.m. Monday nights.
And it's a great show. She had me on. I didn't destroy it. So it was all good. So
He was on my first episode.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we will talk to everyone next week.
Bye.